Persian Gulf War. Let's begin by understanding the context and key information of the Persian Gulf War. The conflict took place from August 2, 1990 to February 28, 1991. The war was between Iraq, led by Saddam Hussein, and a coalition of international forces, including the United States. The war was a result of long-standing tensions in the region, with Iraq claiming that Kuwait was historically part of its territory.
Soon after the invasion, the United Nations Security Council declared that if Saddam's forces did not withdraw from Kuwait by January 15, 1991, military force would be used. You can guess what happened. On January 16th, the offensive against the Iraqi army began, fought by a broad coalition of armed forces from the United States, United Kingdom, France, Saudi Arabia, and Egypt, among many others.
The Persian Gulf War was primarily triggered by Iraq's invasion of Kuwait on August 2, 1990. Saddam Hussein's aggressive move threatened regional stability and raised concerns about access to oil reserves. The international community, led by the United Nations, condemned this act of aggression and demanded Iraq's immediate withdrawal from Kuwait. With the refusal of Iraq, the United Nations Security Council passed a series of resolutions imposing economic sanctions and authorizing the use of force to liberate Kuwait.
The first stage of the Gulf War was named Operation Desert Shield, which actually began before the international coalition was brought together. When Saddam first invaded Kuwait, the United States rushed troops into Saudi Arabia, the world's largest oil exporter, to prevent a possible attack. But after the Security Council's declaration of war, it became the American force that would invade Kuwait. The main phase of the war was codenamed Operation Desert Storm, which began on the morning of January 17, 1991. Desert Storm was a massive bombing campaign targeting Iraqi aircraft, anti-air defenses, oil refineries, communication lines, weapon factories, bridges, and roads using the latest American military technology, including stealth bombers, cruise missiles, and smart bombs. After a month of Desert Storm, the coalition aimed to finish the job.
Impact and aftermath. The Persian Gulf War had far-reaching consequences. It reshaped the geopolitical landscape in the Middle East and had profound impact on the subsequent events. One of the significant outcomes was the establishment of no-fly zones over Iraq by coalition forces, which continued to be enforced for years. The war also led to increased U.S. military presence in the region, with the deployment of troops to Saudi Arabia as a deterrent against future aggression. Additionally, the conflict exposed the vulnerabilities of Iraq's military capabilities and set the stage for further tensions and conflicts in the region, such as the Iraq War of 2003.
The coalition's ground offensive, known as Operation Desert Saber, began on February 24, 1991. By February 28th, the war was over.
And as president, I can report to the nation, aggression is defeated, the war is over.
In 4 days, the U.S.-led forces retook Kuwait's capital and forced the entire Iraqi army into retreat. In all, Iraq lost somewhere around 30,000 soldiers, while America and its allies only lost 292 total. The Persian Gulf War was an easy and lopsided victory for the United States, but not one without serious consequences. President George H.W. Bush decided not to depose Saddam Hussein, as he didn't believe regime change would be popular with America's allies. In the wake of the war, Kurdish and Shiite Iraqis rose up against Saddam, who in turn brutally crushed their rebellions. After the UN accused him of using chemical weapons against his own civilians, Saddam was forced to allow UN inspectors into Iraq. He barred the inspectors in 1997, and from then on, it became the United States' goal to remove Saddam from power. This snowballed into the U.S. invasion of Iraq and Saddam Hussein's capture by American forces in 2003. He was tried, convicted, and executed by the new Iraqi government in 2006.
Now we present the connection between the Persian Gulf War and another significant period in U.S. history. One notable connection can be drawn to the U.S.-Vietnam War. Both conflicts saw the United States engage in military interventions abroad with different motivations and outcomes. While the Vietnam War was marked by controversy and opposition, the Persian Gulf War enjoyed broader international support due to clear violations of international law and the immediate threat posed by Iraq's invasion in Kuwait. However, the lesson learned from the Vietnam War, such as the importance of clear objectives, international coalition building, and public support, influenced the decision-making process and strategies employed by the U.S. states during Persian Gulf War. In conclusion, the Persian Gulf War was a pivotal event with lasting implications. It not only showcased the power of international cooperation, but also highlighted the complexities of modern warfare and the delicate balance of global politics. The conflict demonstrated the resolve of the international community in upholding the principles of sovereignty, territorial integrity, and regional stability. By examining the causes, military operations, and aftermath of the Persian Gulf War, we gain valuable insights to the challenges and complexities of resolving conflicts in the modern world. It serves as a reminder of the importance of diplomacy, international cooperation, and upholding the rule of law in addressing global crises.